Hi everyone, I'm Sucho and this is my thesis, Embracing Urban Weeds. In cities, plants are labeled weeds primarily due to social and cultural values tied to aesthetic, land management, and ecological control, rather than biological threats. Given this understanding, I pose my research question. How can landscape design reframe perception to value urban weeds as critical yet overlooked ecological factors, enhancing biodiversity and ecological resilience? Rather than call them weeds, the spontaneous urban plants is a better term. Scholars like Del Tradici and Koralik emphasize that spontaneous urban plants reflect ecosystem capacity for self-organization and resilience. The Millennium Drought demonstrates spontaneous vegetation's resilience. With projected drought intensification under the climate change, urban weeds capacities to thrive becomes increasingly essential. I take the historical acceptance of native Australian plants as a primary precedent and inspiration for exploring and promoting SCP landscape. Before 1940s, native plants dismissed as coarse or scrappy, much like how weeds are perceived today. In 1950s, bush garden concept emerged. Landscape architects and horticulturalists play a vital role promoting native plants. In 2000s, increased ecological awareness highlights native drought resilience. Today, native plants widely embraced, although not universally. I also envision a similar transformation for SCP landscape in the future. While Melton experienced lower parkland access and significant socio-economic challenges, including lower educational outcomes and higher crime rates. Its rapidly growing, culturally diverse community makes it ideal for testing innovative, resilient planting strategies. And after speedy agricultural intensification, now Melton is one of Australia's fastest growing multicultural council. After several site visits, I trace an exploration route and calculate spontaneous urban plants I encountered. My primary design focus is the busy high street frontage of the Woodgrove shopping center. Through the analysis and narration of the habits of various weeds, observing the visual symbols and extended meanings in the process of evolution. My design strategy is spontaneity, let plants self-seeded, visibility, showcase SUP, from small starts to big narrative, pilot low risk sites, scale up as acceptance grows, and different user group, reflect Melton's multicultural mix. And three phases rolled out. Phase 1 traffic island testbed, tiny high visibility plot for controlled trials. Phase 2 patchwork park, retrofit car parks and verges where residents already care. And Phase 3 citywide integration, more or less designated wild zones. This strategy doesn't seek instant change in perception, but encourages gradual acceptance of spontaneous plants through deliberate engagement, ecological demonstration, and personal narratives. And toolkits include ascetics, succession and resilience, and cues to care and reshape. Before we dive into the design sequence, please meet Miss Grayson, a long-time Melton resident devoted to her rose garden. Her reaction will be the narrative thread that guides you through each stage of the project. Stage 1, the traffic island testbed. This narrow traffic island sits north of Melton Business Bus Stop and in front of the main shopping center. Because the strip is highly visible, compact, and low risk, it's the perfect live, it's the perfect living laboratory for phase 1. I test three planting category here. Use exotic and indigenous plants recommended by Melton Council and the spontaneous urban plants I encountered on site by comparing them, showing that spontaneous urban plants blazed design can also achieve strong visual performance thanks to longer blooming periods and frequent seasonal variation. When Miss Grayson catches the bus to shop, she noticed the island was growing plants, well, what she calls weeds, and she may think, what's this? Discomfort is immediate, but it's intentional. Phase 1 is about safe, fleeting exposure that provokes curiosity without demanding acceptance. And then the phase 2, Patchwork Park. The design is also unfolded in three stages. Stage 1 begins in an underused green strip around the car park. It was a little more than patchy lawn and exposed clay. I break the old lawn boundary so plants can spill toward the parking base. Within weeks, they staged a low drought-proof carpet and began loosening the soil. Unlike the traffic island, visitors move through this space at walking speeds, querying for buses, pushing trolleys so they meet the plants up close every day. Then drought hit, echoing the millennium drought of the 2000. Council tightened water use, and Miss Grayson's rose at home with despite her best efforts. When she walked past this spot, she will read a small sign that says this week survives drought. In that moment, she will realize resilience can also be beautiful. She will have a sense that maybe weeds are not the enemy. And stage 2 of the phase 2 stages 3 new garden zone into the car park. First is the green corridor. The old steel pergola is reclad with climbing SUP vines, casting living shade. Miss Grayson walked by and think it's surprisingly green, much cooler than the bare frame. And second, a walking park snakes along the existing footpath. Wild flower drifts create an immersive ribbon of color and scent. And the third one is an edible weed garden. Raised beds host purslane, amaranth, and chickweed. Plants once dismissed as nonsense and now harvested in the community cooking demos. Miss Grayson samples the pastel and thinks it's quite tasty. By observing, touching, and even tasting these plants, visitors move from curiosity to appreciation. Daily encounters turns weeds into amenities. Shade, beauty, flavor. For Miss Grayson, the shift is personal. She now considers swapping a corner of a rose bed for drought-proof vegetation. The cultural transition is underway. In stage 3, the design embraces full managed wilderness. I fracture redundant asphalt, blend the rubble with compost, and see the cracks. The result is an asphalt garden, a porous, stony substrate where tough, spontaneous plants root easily. Walkable paths are kept clear, so the space still feels safe and deliberate. After witnessed the entire transformation, and with drought now the new formal, Miss Grayson has turned her own backyard into a weed paradise. In the future, the phase 3, this SUP may gradually spread to adjacent natural strips, along roadsides in front of houses, and even into front yards. At that point, their presence will be accepted as part of everyday life.